Hello. Hi all. Is my voice audible? Hello. Like if my voice audible, can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, that's cool. Just wait for a few more minutes so that other participants can join. We can start our class by 7:40. Hi, good evening all. Welcome back to our Full Stack Foundation course. Are you here? Give me a thumbs up. Shall we start today's class? Okay. Okay, we are getting two responses, and here we have 80 plus participants. And can you all give a thumbs up? Shall we start today's class? Okay. Okay. So in this workshop, like for the last classes, you have learned about the front-end tools that front-end tool that HTML CSS thing, and in the last class, you have uh, talk about like AI tools to develop the web developments, right? So with that, in this day, we're gonna talk about the backend stuff that you are using for web development. When we say backend thing, like we are using a number of tools. Uh, in this day, I'm gonna teach you the basics of Python. Like, how many of you know the basics of Python? Like, how many of you aware of Python programming? Okay, one, two, three, four. Yes. Okay, you are getting 8 responses. Others? Okay, 9. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. So no worries if you don't know like what is Python. if you don't know what are the basics of Python, how to start it. So from the basics, I'm gonna teach you like how to run, how to execute a Python file today. Okay, shall we start? Shall we start our class today? Okay, so here let's see what is the basics of Python. Uh, like if you are a complete beginner, if you are from the non-tech background or if you are a complete beginner, I would suggest you can start practicing the Python code from Google Colab. Like once you got into the intermediate level, then you can use VS Code and VS Code environment and everything. So as a beginner, you can, if you want to start practicing Python, you can use Google Colab. So like if you have so this is what Google Colab environment is. Here you have a number of cells. If you enter some code in the cell and you can run it and you will get a output in the in each cell itself. Okay. Okay, let me tell you the basics of Python. Let's start from the hello world. So this is a very basic thing. Like if you want to print a statement, like you can use this function, that is print function. It is quite basic thing. So starting from this, I think it will take time to run the program. So it will print the statement. Here we have given the statement as hello world, so it will be printed here. Okay, and let's start. Yeah, we got the answer. So moving to the data types, we have a number of different types of data types in Python, starting with number. So we say here, we say now, is my screen visible to you? Is that okay? Okay, are you able to see my screen? Okay, okay. Okay, let's start with the basic data types, that is integer. Integer, we can use any kind of whole number that can be negative or positive. Here we say we will identify this integer as int. So if you have a number data type, you can directly assign this number to a variable. Okay, this is how you can declare a number data type. Moving to the string data type, string is nothing but a sequence of the characters, whether it can be a word or it can be a sentence or anything. So if you want to declare a string, you should use this double quotation or single quotation so that it can be declared as string. Okay, even if you have number and you have declared that number into a double quote string, it will be considered, I mean, like if you declare it within a double quotes, it will be considered as a string. Okay, so whatever thing you have declared within this double quote, it will be considered as a string data type. Okay, and moving to the next data type, we have this thing called float data type. As you know, like the decimal numbers, whatever the numbers with the point things, so that will be considered as a float data type. And moving to the next data type, we have Boolean data type. So what is Boolean data type? We have two things. One is true or false. Okay. So here we have in Python also we have this thing like true or false. So if you want to assign it, like you can simply without any double quotes or anything, we can simply assign this Boolean data type as true or false to any random. I mean like any variable here. Okay. Okay. So after this, these things are single. We are just assigning a single data to a variable. So moving to the collection of data, like I have some collection of data. I just want to assign that collection of items to a variable. In that case, we have a number of different data types. Starting with list. List is a collection of ordered items. We have to denote this list as square brackets. So we need square bracket to declare a list, and within a list we can have different type of data kinds. It doesn't mean like if I have one list, I should have one. I mean like only numbers or only strings or not like that. So even in a list we can have different data types. So here I am having string data type as well as number data, string integer data type as well as boolean data type. So the main thing we have to focus is like if you want to declare a list, you should use this square bracket. Okay, and the best and the thing for list data type is it is mutable. Mutable in the sense we can change the items of this list. Like if you want to add an item, we can add it, or if you want to remove the item, we can remove it. Even within a list, we can add, we can have one more list, or we can have tuple or anything. Okay, and the main thing about list is it is mutable. And moving to the tuple data set, like if you want to declare it, you have to use this parenthesis, and it is almost similar to a list. What's the difference between this list and tuple list? It is immutable. Immutable in the sense we can't change the element of that particular tuple. So once it is declared, it is declared. So we can't change the elements that we have set to this tuple. So here I'm having the tuple name as coordinates. In this coordinates, I have these four elements, 10, 20, 30, and 40. Okay. Once I have declared it, I can't change the elements. I can't add or remove the elements in this tuple. Okay, I can have one more tuple, but I can't change the elements that I have declared within this tuple. Okay, and moving to the next data type, we have this thing called set. Set is basically used to like have the unique items. Like in such a case, like we don't have any repetitions. So here in tuple or list, we can have repetitions. Like in set, we don't have any repetitions. And using this bracket symbol, we can declare set data type. Up to this, these are collection of data, and here we have one more data type, that is dictionary. Dictionary in the sense like, see, if I have these kind of data, like here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I don't know what is 1 refers to and what is 2 refers to and what is 3 refers to. Okay, so if I want to even I can have Alice 25 New York. So that is also one kind of data, or like we can have as a tuple or list, but we don't know what Alice is, but we don't know what 25 is, or we don't know what New York is. Like if you want to refer it to something, like we can have this thing called key value pairs. Like here I'm having key name, and for this key I'm having one value, that is Alice. Okay, so similarly for I'm having a key and the value to it. So for key value based data set, we have dictionary. So based on using dictionary, we can have these kind of data set. So dictionary is also declared using this symbol, set symbol. Okay. And another thing, we have this thing called none data type. None data type in the sense null value. So we don't have any value, like it refers to the null value. So for that, we have this keyword called none. So we can, that is none data type. So these are all quite basic data types that you have in Python. So here I have assigned one data to a variable and I'm just printing it. So this is the answer we are getting for this program. Actually, why I'm saying this, like these are all the basic data types you are having in Python. So up to this, if you have any doubts, if you are a complete beginner, I don't know what is programming language and all, like you can ask your doubts. Like if you have any doubts in data types, if you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat box. Otherwise, we can, yeah, no doubts. Okay. Okay, it's pretty basic thing. Okay, moving to the next thing, like in a programming language, you have this if-else conditional statements, right? So here I'm having one statement. If it is true, I want to print this line. If it is a false thing, I want to print this line. Here I'm taking an example as age is 18. If the age is above 18, I want to print that you are an adult. If that guy is below 18, I just want to say like you are minor. Okay, so if we have conditions, so based on the condition, if you want the program to run, you are having this thing called if-else statement. So in Python, like how to declare if-else statement in the sense, see, you have if syntax, So after that, you should have your condition. After that, here definitely you will have this indentation. Indentation is also important in Python programming. So when you have this if condition, you will have this indentation. And here I'm just printing I want to print this statement. That's why I'm here. I just put the print function here. Okay, so if my if condition gets failed, I want to print another statement, right? So for that, I'm using the syntax else. So in the else thing, we don't need to put any condition here. See, we have to put condition in the if syntax. So here we are just printing another statement. Once it is false, this statement will be printed. And one more, even if you have uh, two or more conditional statement, you can use if, elif. Okay. So in elif one, you can give another statement. So you can, in that block, you can print whatever the command you want to print, that kind of thing. So this is the basic if else statement that you have. This is the basic if else syntax that you have in Python. So another thing I want to brush up is like loops. So uh, have you heard about loops? Like what kind of looping statements available in Python? Can anyone put in the chat? Why we are using? Like we don't need to put curly braces and all. Like just simply put. That's the syntax that we are following in Python. You just put. Okay, so for loop and while loop. So can anyone tell me like what is for loop and what is while loop? Like why we are using for loop? In which condition we will use for loop and which condition we will use while loop? Okay, let me brush up this loop things. So basically, loop is used for repeating the task. Like if I'm doing a same task for n number of times, I can use loop statements so that I can use these loop statements to execute the same task for n number of times. So for that, we can use it. Or if we have a sequence data type, say string, list, these things are collection of data, right? So these things are sequence data type. So for such data type, if you want to iter the elements, we can use this for loop. Okay, so let's see one example. Here I'm having one list. So here it is apple. Here I'm having fruits name. Let's say apple, banana, and cherry. I want to iterate and print it like without applying like print apple, print banana, print cherry. I just want to use the for loop. Here we are having for, here we have to declare one variable. I'm just having fruit in, this is the list name. Here we have the list name as fruits, and this is the part of the syntax. You should have this colon, and after that here we just want to print it. I'm just printing. Here we have the variable as fruit, right? So that variable we have to put it here. Okay, so when we run it, we will, so this for loop will iterate each elements in this list data type. So the first element here is apple and that will be printed, and next thing is banana, that is printed, and the next cherry. So up to the last element, it will be iterated and it will be printed. Okay, this is a basic, like not just for list, you can use this iteration method for string also. Okay, for any sequence data type, you can use for loop to iterate the elements. Is it clear? Do you have any doubts? Yeah, like that is also. Okay, that's good. Like up to this, you have any doubts? Okay, that's good. And one other thing we can use for loop is like you have this thing called range function. So this range function starts from 0. Like here I'm having range of 5. In the sense it starts from 0 and it will end up to n minus 1 step. Okay. Here I'm just printing the first 4 elements. So starting from 0 here, if I have 5, so up to 4 it will be stopped. So from 0 to 4 it will be printed. So in range, we have, if you give just 5, So it will start from 0 and it goes up to n minus 1. Okay, so if you have declared 1 comma 5, you enter the starting number, so it will start from 1 and it will go up to n minus 1. Okay, I hope you guys clear with the range function. Is it? Give me a thumbs up if you have no doubts up to for loop. Okay. Okay, and moving to the while loop here, while the syntax of the while loop is, see, here we have this keyword while, and here we have the condition. So how this while loop works is, like, until this condition gets filed, it will be working. Okay, so for that, you see here, it's a simple program of printing a number from 0 to 2. Here my condition is count less than 3. Okay, so in the sense, first I have to initiate this count from 0. Okay, and one more thing is, like, here I'm printing, that is fine, and at the end of this while loop you have to increase this I mean, like, you should have this increment thing. Okay, so here I am increment this count function, count variable as 1. So first it will be 0, this condition is true, and this 0 will be printed, and here increment will be happening, and now count is changed as 1. And again, this condition is true, again it is printing, and again the increment is happening, now the count will be 2. So now it will be printed until when the count is equal to 3, this condition will be checked, this condition becomes failed. So and when this condition got failed, it will be get out of the loop. Okay, so the simply we can say like this, like, without this increment function, this while loop goes infinite. Okay, so this increment part is also important, and like you should have the condition up to this condition gets failed, it will be executed. And like, is it okay, or you have any other doubts in while loop? Shall I move to the next topic, next one? Guys, are you here? Give me a thumbs up. Are you clear with the basics of Python? Okay, I'm getting 2 responses. Others, please put a thumbs up. Shall we move to the next one? Okay. Okay, so these things are very basics that you use in Python, but here in the web development today we're gonna talk about the tool called Flask. Okay, so Flask is a thing that is used that we have to use using Python. Okay, so in that we will define so many functions. So before getting into Flask, let me tell you like how to define a function. Okay, so how will you define function in Python? You have this syntax def, and here you have to write the function name, and you should have this brackets and the colon, and here we have whatever the thing we have to do with that particular function. Here I'm having a simple program that if I want to call this function, my hello world will be printed. So greet is my function. Okay, so we have to define it, and within that function, within that block, we should write whatever the thing we want to print, or whatever the thing we have to perform. Once the function is performed, if you want to execute the function, you have to call it. Okay, so here if you want to call it, you just have your function name. Okay, so if I run this program, so whatever you put here, it will be executed. I mean, like, for a function, you should know 2 things, like how to define a function, and whenever you need the function, you have to call it. Okay, here we are just simply put greet function. Like, if you want to assign it, you can have a is equal to greet. You can assign a function to another variable also. Okay, here this is a simple program that we can discussed. And here another thing, the same program, here I'm having a parameter. Okay, see, here I'm having a function with a parameter. Here I'm having one parameter. So whenever you call a function, we have to give an argument to that parameter. So whatever you give argument, it will be assigned to this parameter and it will be printed here. Okay, let's run this program. Okay, so here I'm just giving the parameter as, I mean, like giving the argument as Alice, and it is assigned to this parameter and this printer. Okay, so uh, like uh, please know like how to define a function along with parameters too. And in parameters you have default parameters and you have such kind of thing also. This is a basic thing, like how to declare a function. Is that okay? Like, are you guys clear with like how to define a function, how to call it, and how to give parameters? If you have any doubts in that, you can tell me. Okay. So up to this, we have covered the basics of Python. So whatever the doubt you have regarding the basics of Python, you can tell me. Like, this is especially for the beginners who are who are from the non-tech side or something. Like, if you don't know, if you have no idea about the programming language, like this is just a brush up for you to recall the basic stuffs. Okay, like if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Next thing, like we will move like next thing we will see like how to run a Flask application. If you have any doubts, kindly put your doubts in the chat box. No doubts? Shall we move to the next topic? Okay. Okay. Okay, now let's look into like what is Flask and what is the basic structure of Flask. So here I'm having one example. Before getting into that, let me tell you the basic structure of the Flask. So Flask is a framework that we are building on Python programming. So see, this is the basic structure of a Flask application. Okay, so first thing you have to import the class. So we have this thing like from Flask, we are importing the Flask classes, and here we are like here we are creating the instances as app. And see, here I'm just printing the hello world thing. Okay, so this is my function. So I'm having a function called hello world. In that, it is printing like hello world. Okay, so here the main important thing is here I'm having route. So route is basically used to bind the function to the root URL. So whatever the function you declared here, so this route function will map this Python function to your front-end URL. Okay, so that I will show you with the example, but just know this is the basic structure of a Flask program. And here you have this thing to run this Flask application. Okay, and like I think hope you guys aware of VS Code and all, right? So in VS Code you can have this file, and by default we will have Flask application like Flask. To execute the Flask file, we will have this entire code as app.py. Okay, so let me tell you with an example. Okay. Okay, here is an example. Let's say we are having this workshop. Let's say I'm building on website for this workshop. That is, I want students to enter their basic details like name, phone number, and the place they are registering from. So I'm just having a simple summation form. And I'm just storing those details into a CSV file. Okay, so this is my basic example I'm going to tell you. So here for that uh, we should need app.py. So this is our Flask program to execute. So from importing the basic stuff, here I'm just initializing the data.csv. The data.csv in the sense, so here I'm just storing the user data into my CSV file. And here we have the routing. The first thing, I just want to have a welcome page. For that, I need the front end thing. So in the previous classes, you have learned about the front end stuff, right? So how to execute the HTML, CSS thing and all. So if you have the HTML file, here you should have, here you should have this folder called templates. Within that template, you can have your index.html files. So whatever the HTML files you have, you can have that within this templates folder. Okay. And to the next page. So once they have entered, the website, like they are moving to the next page, right? For that, I'm having another function. So in that function, they are just putting their information. So for that, I'm having this dot as slash form. Okay, in that we are getting the user's detail. So this is one such basic form details that we are asking from the user. And this Flask structure, like here you have the folder Flask example. This is our main folder, right? So within that app.py is our Python, the Flask Python thing we have. And if we have HTML and CSS files, so you should have templates folder. Within that templates folder, you should have your HTML file. So, and one more thing, if you have a static files, so you should have static files within this static folder. Here I'm having CSS file, so I'm having the CSS file under the static folder. If you have JavaScript or something, like you can have static folder, within that you can have your files. Okay, or if you want user to upload any images or something, you should declare one more folder called uploads. Okay, so the thing is, like, you can get the code from GitHub or something. So please take care of this folder structure. Once you are ready with the folder structure, so go to this app.py. Here, let me tell you how to execute this Flask application. And if you are using Flask for the first time, kindly install Flask using this command pip install Flask. So I have already installed it, so that I'm moving to the next thing. So okay, to execute this Python file, you should have Python app.py. When you execute this, you have this default server link. Like, you click on this. So here you have this hello world. Like, previous example is working. Let me run this program again. Here you have this link, server link. Just click on it. So you have the server ready. Okay. So we are having this as a local host. So here, this is a simple example that I just having. So when the person click on this join now, here I'm just entering my details. Let's say 3, and let's say place Chennai, and we are submitting this. So see, are you aware of this root thing? Like, for the first, when we run it first, we have just the default URL. So in that, we are having the home page. See, for the form submission, we are having this slash form. So that is, we are declaring in this root function. Okay. So like, you have to declare this root functions. By that, for each page we have to define the function. So whatever you are defining the function below this dot, it will be execute in that page. Okay, so here the function is basically to create data and to execute this, and here my details is stored. Okay, So after that, we can download our data.csv. Okay, let me tell you once again. See, app.py is the default thing. Like we're gonna execute for Flask. So we have the basic structure from importing, and we are initializing the instances, and we are having our functions. So importing and initializing is the first thing, and then you should have your function. So whatever you want to print or whatever you want to display, you should have that as a function. And above that, you have to mention the route thing. Okay, so for having the front end thing, you have the HTML and CSS files. So in the templates folder, you have your HTML file, and the static folder, you have your CSS file. Okay, to run this Flask program, like just click, just use this command to execute the file. You will have this link. So when you follow this link, when you click on it, you will have in this page, and you can access it. Okay, this is the basic example of like how to install a Flask. I mean, like how to execute a Flask function. Do you have any doubts in Flask, like how to execute Flask Python file? Why don't we use do while? Yeah, you can use it. Like I'm just showing an example for while. We can use it. Once again, let me tell you once again. Yeah, sure. See, this is our Flask application. Okay. The simple example I'm going to run is I'm just see when look at this example. See, I'm just having a front end thing that is welcome to the full stack foundation course. People who are joining our course, they will enter their names, right? They will enter their basic details. What I'm going to do is once they enter their names, I'm just storing it as a CSV file. Okay, this is our basic exam. This is the basic example I just want to show you. Are you clear with the problem statement? Is, is that clear first? Is that clear? Like what is the project we are doing? Okay, so for that, I'm having this app.py. Here we have the Python file. First thing, like this is the basic importing the required libraries and all. And here, as I already explained, here we have to initialize this class as app. And here, our first thing is I want to open a CSV file. See here the names, numbers, and whatever the details we are whatever the user is entering, that is stored in this file. Okay, for that I'm just having one function, so that is creating a data.csv file. Are you clear up to this? Are you clear up to this? Give me a thumbs up. Are you here? 90, here we have 93 people, right? So give me a thumbs up. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this step? Guys, put a thumbs up. Yes. We need more response. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay. So the first thing we need to have is we should have one front page, like see, we should have this front page, like welcoming page. Okay. So and then we should have this form submission page, right? We have two things. One is the welcome page and one other one is form page. For welcome page, I'm just having the front end thing as index.html. In that index.html, like you have this front end thing, like this text, welcome to the full stack foundation course and join button and everything. So hope you guys clear with the front end stuffs. Is that okay? Like, do you have any doubts in what is HTML file and all? No, right? Okay, for that we need to define a function for the home page. Here I'm having the function, here we are having the function as welcome. Okay, in that welcome, I'm just having the index.html to show the welcome message. Okay, for that we will having the default. See here, our default link is this, right? Default post link is this. So for that I'm just giving slash to this dot. This is the default link that we can use it. So for the first page, we are having the welcome message. Okay, so we need to navigate to the next page that we have the submission form where the users are entering their details. For that, I'm having this URL slash form. So for that, I need to mention here. So whatever I mentioned here, uh, so this function will be linked to this route. This function will be linked to this URL. Okay, not just form like I can have like slash um, details or something. Okay, so after that I need to define a function. Here I'm having a function form. In that um, I'm just having the front end things as see here. So once they click join, here they are just entering. I'm just asking three details. That is name, phone number, and place. Okay, they are just entering their name and a phone number and place. And once they click submit, the data will be stored in our data.csv. So this is the thing we have to define in this form function. Okay, so with that, uh, this is like so basically CSV for accessing this CSV data.csv, we are just using the file function called with open. These things are uh, used to open a file one thing. So once we get the details from the user and it will be stored in our CSV file. Okay. For the front end things, same similarly, we can have the front end things from this index.html. Okay. So for having this HTML file, we should need this folder called template. So this should not be changed. Like um, we can have different HTML files name, but this thing, the folder name should not change. We should have templates folder. Within that templates folder, we can have our HTML files. Okay. And one more thing, we should have this static file, static folder name. So within static folder name, I'm just having CSS folder. Within that, I'm having my CSS file. Okay. Even if you want to upload images or something, you can have the folder called uploads. Okay, so the folder structure is important as well as we need this app.py. So this is the structure of a Flask program to execute. Okay, once this folder structure and files are ready, you can execute as I already said. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Uh, Guys, are you here? Give me a thumbs up. Is it clear now? So are you able to execute a Flask application? Okay, do you have any doubts up to this? Okay, so can we give some assignment to you based on this Flask application? Are you guys ready? Yeah, like you can have. So with I'm just here. I just taught you one basic example that user are entering the details that is saved in the data.csv file, right? So similarly, you too can create some website based on this. Uh, like even you just create some website thing for our course, this full stack course 1 week workshop and all. So use previously we have told you AI tools and we have teach you the front end stuffs. So we used that thing along with the Flask application. You just create one more example of the same thing I told you today. Okay. Can you practice this Flask application? Is it okay? Do you have any doubts? Kindly put doubts in the chat box. A get is like we want to get the details from that is used for the HTTP responses we need to get from the user side, right? So for the backend stuff, like here I just told you one simple example. Like if you are having one website that is using AI ML project, in that case for backend thing, like you have to do so many stuffs, right? So for backend stuff, you can use Flask is also one such tool that you can use for backend thing. So for, like see even in this case like yeah, Django is the next level. Like Flask is the basic thing that we want to use. Like if once you are clear with Django, like you can go for once you are clear with Flask, you can go for Django. Yeah, like the so input CSV and input OSS are basic libraries that we want to um, import it for the remaining codes. Yes. Yeah, now it's a Q&A session. We have lost 5 minutes. If you have any doubts regarding this today's class, you can ask. You can ask me. Yeah, Abhilash, you have any
Hello, ma'am.
doubts? Yeah,
Hello, ma'am.
Abhilash. Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Ma'am, what's the use of Flask? I didn't understand anything.
Okay, like for the backend purpose, like see in the web development, we have the backend process also. Like we need data, like the users they are interacting with the website. They enter their data that we need to store it and we need to process the data and we have to like they will send some requests and we need to assess that, right? So mostly Flask is used for the backend purpose.
Okay,
Is it
thank you,
clear?
ma'am. Yeah, I
Yes.
got it, ma'am.
Yeah, for in web development for backend, we are using a number of frameworks. There is Flask, Django, and everything. Flask is one simple framework that you can easily understand. That's why here today I just explained about Flask. Is it okay? Uh, guys, if you have any other doubts, okay. Are you clear with the um, folder structural one? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. You have 3 minutes. Like if you want to code it on your own, like you need to know what is Python, like how to use Python, like you have to master the Python programming. Okay. If you are not in that level, if you are a beginner, you can use GitHub or ChatGPT for your code. Okay, sure. Yeah, instead of Flask, we can use Django. Folder structure is here. My main folder is Flask. Example is the actual folder. Okay, and here I'm having app.py, that is our Flask application, like Python file. Okay, within that folder. So okay, in our main folder we have one more folder called templates. So in that folder we are having HTML files. Okay, so another folder we have this as static. So static, here we have CSS files. And based on our requirements, those things will change. How to master Python? Like you have to practice more. Like you have to practice a number of problems. Like you have HackerRank, Lead Code kind of platforms, right? So you can go practice and solve problems as much as you can. So you have Lead Code. Like we will share you the link later in the group. Is that okay, Tarun? Uh, sorry, unit memory. See, Google Colab is for beginners, like in a practice level, or Google Colab. They have different purposes. We can use Google Colab, but mostly for the server end, we can use VS Code. What was this Python place currently at industry? It's a very nice question, bro. Uh, Hello, is my voice audible? What is the role of Python? Like from data analysis, yeah, like web development, AI, ML, you are using Python only. I mean, for the latest the technologies like from AI, ML stuff, for using deep learning, machine learning, LLMs, and NLP, for those things we are using Python, right? From TensorFlow, Keras, those things are using Python, and that's the role of Python currently at industry, I think so. Krishna, Krishnamurti. Yeah, yes. If you have any doubts, regarding Python as well as Flask, kindly let us know in the WhatsApp group. We can leave now since the meeting, the end time of the meeting is. Tomorrow you will learn about the database thing. So like how to use database or how what are the database thing that you have to integrate with web development. That will be teach tomorrow. Any other doubts? Shall we end the meet?
Guys, shall we end the meet? Have any doubts regarding to the session?
I have
Okay, guys.
no.
Tomorrow session, the timing will be informed. So I'm going to end this meet now. So thank you guys for your presence
Thank you
today.
so much for thank you for attending the workshop today. Yeah, we will end the meet now.
Yeah, okay. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
That we are using for React. Here we just use by the Flask, right?